Hello. Happy New Year. I'm recording this the day after the New Year holiday, and oh my gosh, what a whirlwind. I hope you are all holding up okay. The holidays can be fun, lovely, but also brutal. So I hope that you're feeling well, and I hope that all the viruses didn't get you. It seems like every year they get me and my family. And that the holiday gathering is for an exchanging of viruses, not just gifts. Anyway, today, something I want to talk about to you about. I'm sandwiching this as episode in between two episodes that are very technical and very much a sort of how-to tax season type episodes. But I really want to put an episode in here that is a little more spiritual and a little bit more about gratitude and the attitude that I think can be helpful as you move forward in doing this work. I very definitely used to believe that my job was just to teach how tax law works. And to a degree, that is true because there is no tax education in this country. People do not know the basics. And so that actually really is true, but it's not enough. A lot of people who are in a position to get the information they need have mindset issues that really block them incorporating it. And that can be a real challenge to deal with. So today, on today's episode, I want to talk to you about the things you need to do in January, yes, to get ready for the rest of your year. But the biggest thing about all of that is a belief in your work in the first place, a belief in the fact that your work truly is important. Because if you don't have that belief, it is hard to treat it seriously enough to do the work of getting your taxes organized and your business operations into a good place, right? If you're treating your business like a hobby, then you're not going to do the things that a business does in order to set up right. So I want to talk about that. I often end my tax workshops when I'm talking to different groups that, the people that I work with are the empathy builders of our culture. And I really believe that from the bottom of my heart. I hear creative people, healers, visionary people say things all the time that really diminish the value of their work. And I just want to spend a little time today reflecting back to you how much value I have received personally out of creative work, even work that might seem on the surface to be very frivolous or lighthearted or, quote, not serious. So, just to give you a couple of examples, um, like there's someone who I follow and have been talking to recently on Instagram makes ceramics that have really kind of funny, kind of very beautiful, like anatomically correct female figures or like breasts and on these mugs. And they're kind of funny, they're kind of weird. But they really there's something about them that feels a little transgressive or feels a little bit like empowering. And I just think to myself, God, holding one of those mugs, drinking out of one of those mugs, it's not it's not just a best boss mug, like there's something really, really special about that. And the person who is attracted to that mug who wants to buy it is somebody who's either giving a lot of thought to their own body, who wants to make a statement outwards about what what they have around them. Another example, like some people will say like, "Oh, I just make stickers. Oh, I just write comics. I just, right? We use that kind of language when we're talking about creative work. Um, I I don't know about you, but I have two daughters and stickers form the initial piece of their identity. Like they literally will walk into a store, see a Taylor Swift sticker, and just totally identify with it, want the sticker, use their allowance, buy the sticker, and put it on their water bottle that they bring to school every day because that shows the world like I have taste. This is like someone I really like and care about, and I identify with this person. And they put those stickers on there. They also have stickers from Planned Parenthood and from the animal shelter that we volunteer at. Like their little water bottle that they bring to school is like covered in stickers that represent who, their blooming identities as individuals. and, and it may feel when you make a sticker that it's no big deal, right? But tell that to my daughter, you know. A new sticker on her water bottle at school is a point of conversation with other people in her class. It opens up an avenue, it opens an identity for her. So, I mean, there's an example of a thing that on its face might seem very small and unimportant or frivolous, but actually the meaning of it is far more deep and far more connecting than that. Um, I myself, as a visual artist, have had existential crises, many of them through the years. And I remember feeling, at various times in my career, and often, frankly, because someone would say something directly to me about how unimportant or frivolous my work was. And it's like, yeah, it is my life's work that you are talking about there. And it certainly can feel very impactful when over and over again you hear everybody talking about STEM careers and money into important careers. When here you are in one of the careers that's considered, quote, unimportant. And I have often diminished my own work or seen my own work through that lens and felt like, oh, what am I doing to help the world? I'm not curing cancer. I'm not solving homelessness. I'm just making, weird reproductions of things that exist in the world, right? Whether they're sculptures or paintings. But I remember a moment that I had with another painter, another artist's work. This artist, I will credit this artist, Matt Phillips. I went to graduate school with him and I truly love his work. Um, I remember just like being on the internet, and it was 2017. Trump had just been elected and was about to go into office. And I was kind of in that state of existential horror that a lot of us were at that time. And I remember like seeing an announcement for one of his upcoming shows. And he, at the time, was doing these abstract paintings with a real muted palette. Um, and I just was looking at them and they didn't have any obvious reference. They were not representational. They were sort of geometric and abstract with these warm, glowing colors. And I was looking at that work and it just in that moment when I had been experiencing like a barrage of doom scrolling news intake, I looked at his totally non-referential paintings and I thought, oh, there's something more universal going on here. Like I just had this moment with his work and I thought like people have appreciated shapes and colors and the feeling that you get from a combination of colors, or like, there's like a human hand element. I can see the humanity in this work that I'm looking at. And there was something really profound in looking through his truly beautiful work that had nothing to do with the news, had nothing to do with the, existential dread I was feeling at the time. And I felt deep and profound comfort at a shared humanity with him, with the world of art appreciators from the beginning of time. And it was really a moment. I actually wrote to him afterwards and told him how important his work had been to me in that moment. And someone easily could have said to him at some point, and I'm sure someone has said to him at some point in his career, like, oh, you're just making abstract painting. Who really cares? Right. And yet, at a certain moment in my life, that work connected with me at a time that I needed it. And it reminded me of a deeper truth, which is I am a human alive among a community of other humans who share similar needs and desires. And there are people out there, and the world is actually bigger than this particular political moment, right? That is what I got from that work at that time. And that was no small deal at all. So that's just another example that I want to bring you of, when you say, I just do blah, 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 whatever that work is, that it's not true. There's no just about it. When your work is received by the right audience, it's profound. It's wonderful. And being received could be, maybe the point of your work is lighthearted. Maybe it is to bring levity to a world that is too heavy. I mean, it doesn't mean that you need to be solving cold fusion in order for your work to matter in this world. I think that connecting with people, whether it is through the pleasure of holding a perfect coffee mug that feels great in your hand, or the pleasure of connecting with um, the broader depths of humanity, wearing a t-shirt that looks great on you or shows your awesome sense of smile, having a sticker on your water bottle that lets your friends know that you are a Taylor Swift fan, or, whatever it is. I think the work that you're doing is super, super important. And one of the most profound things you can do to help your career beyond getting your taxes set up is simply to believe in your work, right? To see the value of your work, to reconnect from time to time to the importance of what you're doing. And your work is important, even if you jokingly dismiss it from time to time when you're in the company of someone who makes you feel that way. All right. That's the real message I want to bring to you today. Honestly, I just have been doing some reflection and gratitude, taking account of 2023 as we move into 2024. And the work of people like you is something that really matters to me. And so I just wanted to dedicate this episode to you, to the work that you do. And I hope that you find the value in it, you see the value in it, and you hold it up and take it really seriously. Because if you want to do more of that work in the world, have a bigger impact, have more clients, reach more people, make more profound change, fundamentally, the most important thing you do is you have to believe in it. So there you go. I will say now I will move into a little bit of technical tax stuff. And I will set you up for next week where we'll get quite technical. I will be talking about 1099s. But January is really a good month, one, for reflecting on what you value and what you don't, what you want to take with you into the new year and what you want to leave behind. And so I think it is a great time to reflect on the value of your work. But January is also a really good time I've been having this theme in a lot of my work and writing and podcasts recently, which is take a little time for planning to save you hours, weeks, months of stress later on, right? January is the ultimate month to take a little bit of time, maybe 30 minutes, to do some setup, to put some very simple systems into place. And if you do that, 4 months from now, when April comes around, you will be so happy. So January is the prime time for you to set yourself up for a really successful year in business. And I just want you, that's why right at the top of the year, I really wanted to give you an episode to talk about valuing the work that you do, seeing its importance and really feeling it, and making sure because of that, that you treat it not like a hobby, not like some stupid little side hustle, but like something serious that really matters in this world, because it does. And then I'll tell you a couple of things that you'll need to do in January. So stuff that you need to do in January, you want to take a little time to plan out how you're going to manage your money. So you're going to need to finish your bookkeeping for 2023, right? Hopefully, you've had some rhythm of touching your bookkeeping throughout the year, so it's not in a total state of disarray. I recommend for people when they're starting out to not even necessarily do your bookkeeping every month, but definitely do it every quarter. And that makes sense because for those of us who have to pay our taxes every quarter, doing quarterly bookkeeping helps you be able to make a calculated payment amount based on the actual money you earned and not on a sort of rough and random estimate from last year's taxes. So doing your bookkeeping every single quarter is a good minimum goal for you in your business for basic organization. And here in January, it's the time to settle up your books from 2023. That becomes important because there's multiple tasks you have to complete this month, which will depend on that bookkeeping being done. First of those tasks is you're going to have to make your fourth and final quarterly tax payment. That is due January 15th. So your last quarterly tax payment for 2023 is due January 15th. So you want to finish up your bookkeeping, if for no other reason than to make that payment. Second reason is that you are going to need your bookkeeping in order to see how much money you have paid out to contractors in tax year 2023, because January 31st is the deadline for issuing your 1099s to any contractors that you paid in 2023 over $600. I'm going to do a whole episode on 1099s next week, so stay tuned for that. If you're in my program, Money Bootcamp, I'm going to be doing a live training on how to issue 1099s to your contractors with links and resources for you. So if you're in Money Bootcamp or interested in Money Bootcamp, that is a major reason that joining in January is a great idea. So you can attend that live workshop and have that under your belt and get those 1099s out on time. This is really important because the deadline is January 31st, and the IRS charges you daily penalties for every day after January 1st that you wait to send them out. You don't want to be late, because those penalties, this is a trend in the IRS. The IRS is trying to tamp down unreported cash income. And the very target, the very target of 1099 reporting is smaller level taxpayers. That is you and me, my friends. And so believe me, you are in the crosshairs of this, and the IRS is increasing its penalties every single year. So if you got away with something last year, that does not mean you're going to get away with it this year. It's really important to take your 1099 seriously. So 1099s, you need your bookkeeping done because you need to know the amounts you paid to all your contractors throughout 2023 in order to issue those 1099s. And again, stay tuned next week for an episode on 1099s. And if you're in bootcamp, you'll get the whole training with the worksheets and the links. Okay, a couple last things that you need in January. You're going to want to review the Corporate Transparency Act rules. Now, I just did a December episode about the new rules for LLCs. So the Corporate Transparency Act is a brand new law that went into effect January 1st, 2024. And it says that if you have an LLC, if you had one that is pre-existing, or if you form a new one in 2024, you will have to report the beneficial owner. So if you own more than 25% stake in any LLC, you will have to do a reporting with FinCEN, that's through the US Treasury, that says who the beneficial owner are. It's not a big deal kind of a report. There's no fee associated with it, but you have to do it or there's pretty serious penalties if you do not. So this is a really important filing you have to do. So I want you to be aware that that's out there. If you missed that episode, it's called New Rules for LLCs. It was out in December, just a couple weeks ago. I'll put an episode link to that in the show notes for you. And then lastly, you want to set up a couple systems for yourself in January for receiving your tax documents for the year. So what that means is you're going to collect your incoming tax, your 1099s, your W-2s, your brokerage statements, all of the tax documents that will be sent to you in the physical mail. You need a physical place to be putting them. Could just be a drawer, could be a filing folder, but you just want to pick a place. You want to consistently put every single one in there. You also need an online place because more and more these are coming to you electronically. So in your inbox, you need to make sure that you have some kind of organization where you know where all of those are. Likewise, you need a receipt system. So I talked again last week's episode, I talked all about these systems and how to set up a good system for January to capture all of these documents and receipts for 2024. So go back and take a listen to last week's episode if you missed that. It's because the year changes over. You want to track your receipts by year. So it's just time to open up a new physical folder for your 2024 receipts, and in your inbox, establish a new folder in your Gmail for 2024 receipts. Okay. Not a big deal at all. These are very simple systems. And yet if you're missing them, you can end up in chaos once these documents start to come in and they get misplaced and they go to different corners of your house and you can't find them. And suddenly you're in a mad scramble on April 14th. That is what we do not want here. So these things are all basic, very, very simple systems that you need to just get set up so that your life is simple going forward. And I want to just connect this back to honoring your own work and truly seeing its importance in the world. Because if you don't treat your business like it is a business, if you're treating it like a hobby, then you're not going to put systems in place that actually put ease into your life, and you're going to have a lot more stress than you need to. And you will be compounding, small problems turn into big problems if you don't put these little systems in place. And so I'm just encouraging you to have a gracious attitude towards yourself, to value what you do, and to make sure that you take just a little bit of time this month to set up some systems for yourself, whether it's with my help and through my programs, or whether it is on your own, to take a little bit of planning time this month so that you get set up for a good year ahead. All right. Now, if you are interested in doing that with some help from me, I am offering a free class called Make Your Taxes Easier and Stash an Extra $130K in Your Savings. When this episode drops, I am giving this class today. And so if you're listening to this right as the episode drops in the morning, I'm giving the class live at noon East Coast time. You can still sign up right up until the moment we start at go.sunlighttax.com/free. And in that class, I will be talking about the difference between receipt documentation, tax documentation, and bookkeeping. These are 3 separate systems, and understanding the difference and what the 3 different things are for, it teases out a lot of the confusion areas for you, and it will help you simplify what you're doing, because a lot of the headaches that people encounter are actually because they're wasting a lot of time in a place where it doesn't matter at all. For example, in sorting receipts. And so come to this class, come learn about those 3 different systems and what they're actually for and what you actually need. And the hint is you don't actually need that much. It's simpler than you thought. That's the good news. So you can come to this class, you can learn something really valuable, just have one focused, distraction-free lunch hour with me where you learn this stuff. And I think you'll be happy because you'll walk away with some tangible skills and next steps for yourself to make this whole year go more easily for you. All right. So you can sign up again at go.sunlighttax.com/free if you want to join my free class, which is today at noon East Coast time. If you missed that, don't worry. You can always send me an email and I'm happy to send you the replay of the class. And I will talk to you next week with an episode about issuing your 1099s. So can't wait to see you then. Have a great week. Bye. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, be sure to leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'm so grateful for that. This video is for education and entertainment only. Nothing in this episode should be taken as individual tax or financial advice. You can find all the tools, books, and links I reference at sunlighttax.com/podcast.